Hi everyone, and welcome to the Universal Standard pop-up in Austin, Texas. Now this is very special because it's one of 12 stops in the US. And guess what? We're here with Alex, one of the founders from this company, and it's super awesome. We're gonna go ahead and show some styling a little bit later, but for now we're gonna get to know Alex and why she started Universal Standard. So hi Alex, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
I'm like super excited because this is a brand that I connect well with. I'm in between sizing, so for me, and I know a lot of other ladies too, that this is something big. It's high quality fabrics, and it's a game changer. Can you tell us a little bit about the tour and how you started Universal Standard?
Sure. First of all, like you say, we include the bridge sizes in our sizing, in our offerings. And we actually start inside the straight size space, so it starts with double digits, we call it. So it's from 10 to 28. And it's because we eventually hope to expand in both directions. So we will go all the way down and we will go much higher up because we just kind of think that that's the writing on the wall. Fashion has to be inclusive, and that's the brand that we want to be. It all started when my business partner Paulina and I, who's the co-founder of the company, we were invited to an event, and she was very excited to sort of build out our network. And I said, I'm not going. And she said, why not? And I said, because I have nothing to wear. Aww. And she said, that's ridiculous. I mean, she's not a plus size woman, so it's really not something that was on her radar. Yeah. She said, you live 2 blocks from Fifth Avenue, let's just go and get you something. And I looked at her like she had 2 heads, and I said, there's not a single store on Fifth Avenue that I can walk into and buy myself something. And that's when we sort of started, obviously I had wanted to do this for a very long time because I was working as a fashion journalist and I was a plus size woman, so I was always in the position to look but not participate. Mm-hmm. And for her, as a finance professional who worked in private equity and did all kinds of investing, the business side of it was very interesting. So we pooled our resources and we started Universal Standard.
That's so cool. And a very interesting point, from the journalist perspective, we're always told to observe but not participate. So from the sidelines, how did it make you feel, and what was that impactful moment that other than at that moment when you went to go shopping, was there a build up to that? Because I know when I go shopping, sometimes it's well, this could fit, but I'm not sure, and what were some of those steps that led to that?
There are so many of those moments. I mean, I have a slew of stories that could be considered tipping points, One of the ones that we most famously sort of repeat in our company is I was interviewing Karl Lagerfeld for Women's Wear Daily in Tokyo. And Tokyo is particularly bad because just as a nation, Japanese people tend to be a little bit smaller. Mm-hmm. So there was absolutely no chance of me getting something there that I could wear. And I remember I wound up going to the Gap men's department and getting an extra large men's Gap shirt to sit with Karl Lagerfeld. And it was so painful and so embarrassing. And I, tried to sort of make it look cool. But I mean, there are a lot of those kinds of moments, when you go to a place and you're looking for something, just anything. I would buy men's clothing and then recut it, or buy something that wasn't meant to be worn a certain way and then take the sleeves off or put a belt on that kind of zhuzhed the whole thing. We're constantly inventing. A lot of us are, bred in the bone designers because we have to be.
I saw that you had a lot of different high quality fabrications too. Yeah. And I feel that's a game changer itself because a lot of it is fast fashion in the yes. inclusivity of most brands, and you guys are doing something different. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, I always found myself in a position of having to choose the best of the worst. That's what it felt like to me, and it got to the point where even getting a compliment from someone felt patronizing. Mm-hmm. When someone says, that looks nice, you feel like going, do you think I'd be wearing this if I had the options that you have?
Exactly.
I'm making the best of what I can every day, and it just didn't feel good. So we wanted, if we were going to start this, we're going to do it right. And one of the things that I wanted was fabrics that felt great. We actually went to Peru for cottons. We make a lot of our fabrics from the thread up. We blend them ourselves so that they're pilling resistant. We do enzyme washes. We do color testing so things are color fast. So after you wash them 5 times, they still look the color they're supposed to look. You know, we put elastane into a lot of things so that it doesn't look like it stretches, but it does. Or if it's a naturally stretching fabric, like a jersey, it will bounce back to the shape it's supposed to be in. So all of these things, we give them a lot of thought. And we wanted to bring something different to this consumer because, as you say, it's all fast fashion. And we just did not want to be that. We didn't want to be part of the ecological problem. I don't think a lot of people realize that the apparel industry is second only to oil when it comes to pollution.
Oh, wow.
We didn't want to contribute to the human factor, the cost. You know, if your shirt costs as much as a sandwich, there's a problem. Like somebody's paying somewhere.
Exactly.
And it's probably, you know, a woman who, you know, has children somewhere in, you know, who knows where. And she's working 20 hours a day for 13 cents an hour. And, you know, there's a reason why it costs as much as it costs.
Exactly. That's a great point. And I think that it's great what you're doing too, like with also like when someone fluctuates in sizes too, to send it back. And that's cool because like I see that there's labor, like children, like you were saying, or mothers that are making this clothing, and then the toxin and everything from the washes and stuff from the fabrics, they're going into the water. Things are just going into piles in other countries, even in our own garbage dumps. So it's like, that's also a game changer. It seems so simple, but like recycling is a big deal, and donating too.
Yeah, it's not simple, but it is obvious, you know. So you first have to want to do it. And I think what you're talking about is our UFL program, which is, we kind of saw this very strange dynamic when women were looking at themselves in the mirror. They quite often just didn't see themselves in the mirror. They saw some sort of future self. So they were constantly like, the comfort and the joy of wearing something beautiful was never about now. It was going to be at some other time when they're a better version of themselves.
Like, oh, I'll wear this when I'm a size.
Yeah, I'm almost there. I started yoga 3 weeks ago. I became a vegan yesterday. Whatever it is, you know, it's like, I'm not going to be this.
It's like, no.
Yeah, so they saw their body as a temporary condition. And we thought, this is nuts. Like, people were either not buying, or they were buying sizes that were too small, or they were like, you could just see the anxiety that was going on. So we thought, how can we change this? And what we decided to do was we decided to say, look, here's our core collection, which are our most popular pieces. Buy for the woman that you see in the mirror so that you look and feel fantastic right now as you are. And if within a year you go up in size or down in size, we will give you that same thing in your new size for free. Wow. So don't worry about it. It won't cost you extra. It won't fit badly. Just always look good and feel good. And the clothes that are returned to us, because they're good quality clothes, they're not fast fashion. They have a second life. We launder them and we donate them to First Steps and Dress for Success. Oh, cool. So that other women can make use of them and, you know, go back into the workforce. And this is not just for plus size women. We're actually hoping that the apparel industry as a whole will adopt this concept, because a lot of women feel that way. They feel bullied by their size.
That's true. I love that. Like bridging the gap, just having everyone being able to have that selection, and like to look at the collection and have a wardrobe that's not like a throwaway, or oh, I have to just donate when I don't feel like that anymore, or I'm not comfortable wearing that. And I feel like this is cool. You bring it to 12 different cities. Like, what are some of the takeaways from like the Q&As and the styling session? Like, what does that look like? What do you want them to feel when they leave?
It's a very good question, actually. And this is a question that we asked ourselves. Like, if you had to distill it to one thought, what do you want this woman to think when she leaves? And I thought about that for a while. And I thought, I want her to think, finally, you know, I've been waiting for this for so long, because that's how I felt. And so this is why we came up with Now You Can, because it really felt like before you just couldn't. There were so many things you couldn't do properly. So we're hoping that when people walk out of here or out of our showrooms where they have that one-on-one session with a stylist, they feel like, first of all, for the first time possibly in their lives, they're really enjoying the shopping experience. where everything in the place fits and it fits well. And the pieces are really nice, and they allow you to look like your peers, you know, which I didn't feel I could before.
I guess what would be the greatest takeaway from stopping here, and what are some of the interactions with people? Have they given you some insight of that?
This whole trip has been amazing. It's been amazing to actually, because we're an online business, we're a direct to consumer business. Yeah. So this is why we can afford to sell clothes at these prices rather than 4 times as much. It's been really great to see our customer in the flesh and to have this kind of connection and to see who they are. And you know, you follow each other on Instagram, and you know, you text or you email or you DM or whatever it is. And suddenly there they are right in front of you, and they can tell you what they think and tell you how they feel about something. And it's been a fantastic experience. This is exactly why we're doing it. We wanted to go across the United States and also just scope out where would we like to have our next showroom, you know, something that's a little bit more permanent, you know. So this is part of it. And so far, I mean, Austin is amazing. The whole crew that we're traveling with is just like, Austin and Portland have been, you know, totally crushing on Austin and on Portland. Those 2 cities have so far in our trip been just really surprisingly fantastic.
Oh, I know some of my friends have been crushing on you too. Like we're all like texting each other, like, "Are you gonna go? When are you going? Like we have to try it on." So thank you guys.
Nice to hear. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Alex. If you guys want to go ahead and check out Universal Standard, I'm going to go ahead and put the links on the screen so you can go ahead and follow them, as well as reach out and go ahead and shop, because you're definitely going to want to treat yourself. Thank you guys so much, and see you later.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the other videos on my channel and follow me on social media.